So, dear colleagues, let's start. As they say, the radio, it's better to start earlier than to wait till the end. So, Moscow time, 15:58. I'm your meeting from Business FM. I'm director of special business program for entrepreneurs, Skolkovo Academy, and I will be moderating this section today. We'll discuss how new projects are promoted in the market, how a niche can be found. We have only 1 hour, so please take vacant seats. Feel free to ask questions. We'll have a small plenary session at the beginning and then a Q&A session. I will introduce our guests and we'll draw conclusions at the end. So let me introduce our participants. First of all, Li Jiyuan, head of the International Radio of China for Eastern Europe. Then Maxim Shilov, Director General of DB Digital. I will give the word later to Deputy Director General of Eugen Abov, Russia Beyond the Headlines. And then we'll have a speech on digital companies, a history of success from EPOM, Deputy Director General Artak Oganessian. So your applause for our participants. So let's start with that. For the last 9 years, I've been dealing with entrepreneurs of small-sized businesses. How can you promote products if you don't have means, if the market is not familiar with your type of product, and if you haven't had the time to educate your customers, if the market started somewhere in Asia and it was transferred to Russia? One example, if a person opened a book shop, Fyodor Ovchinnikov, an entrepreneur who started in Syktyvkar. Did you hear this name, Fyodor Ovchinnikov? No one has heard of him. So the more interesting my story will be. So Fyodor Ovchinnikov in 2006 tried to promote a business of bookstore in Syktyvkar, and he takes a customer credit and opens a small bookstore at the second floor of a shopping center in Syktyvkar. There were several competitors in Syktyvkar. People were voracious book readers in that city, and when they went through the shopping center, wanted to buy a book on marketing or IT or a lean startup or something. If you're an entrepreneur and invested a lot of money, you're in Syktyvkar, you don't have funds for promotion, you have bookshelves, you have the product, you have the cashier's desk. So how can you promote this type of bookstore in a city where people like to read? Yes, we have a version. Hello, we don't hear you. Please speak into the mic and introduce yourself. Good afternoon, I'm Demyanko Maxim. Of course, I'm under 27. I'm a student of the Moscow State Construction University, and here I'm one of the 150 students who take part in the forum. So if I'm 27 at Syktyvkar,
Стало модно, а читать в моем магазине стало еще более популярно, чем читать на третьем этаже.
Слово «модное» и «чтение», на мой взгляд, редко сочетаются.
And sometimes very difficult to combine both, but there are several options and versions how to do it better. And so I have no money to promote that. Internet, even no money for internet in Syktyvkar. Why? What's the big business? So can't you find any users? So you open up. And special union, which is the strength of the will, the strength of so then a guy in Syktyvkar, so to attract people to a bookshop, a bookstore, and so he starts writing his blog and about his business. And that's a new innovative solution to promote the bookshop. So that's probably the only way to do that. And so my 5 minutes, let me finish the story I started. So we opened up a blog, and so the guy says, so my name is Fyodor, I'm 27, and I have a bookstore, and I have no clients. I'm on the 6th floor of a trading center. I hope the world change for the better. So that was made 8 years ago. This century was made, and so people started to pay attention to this person. So they stopped buying books already, paper books, and so they visit internet, and then so they buy books in electronic form, and they can type, they can communicate, so they find that bookstore. And so when what about the first challenges? So Fyodor decided to take it one step further. So how do you promote yourself internet if you have no money? So first month, so he proposed losses, and he's saying that I didn't make any money. I lost money, and hopefully would be able to get even next month. And so the audience in the internet in Syktyvkar region, so they started to learn about the existence of this store, and they go to the 6th floor and buy books. And then 5 years ago, so he sold a chain of bookstores and launched a new business. So now he teaches us at our startup academy, and so he tells us how to launch new businesses and promote if you have no money. And in order, so let me give you a couple of more examples. So first story whereby one of the suppliers, and when the blogs became very popular, and so they started making money, one of the suppliers said, much better just to take books to the 3rd floor, and you owe us 500,000 rubles. So because you are the owner of this blog, so either remove this comment or agree. So who thinks that this is a negative comment of your supplier which impacts adversely your competition, or raise your hands if you think that this comment should be removed. So I'm the only one who thinks that. Who thinks that this comment should not be removed? 7 per. Okay, and so the comment, further decided not to remove this comment, and because another supplier, when he learned that he decided to go to a different floor, and so if you don't want to work with us, work with us. That's it. So financial openness in any business, and even a store, bookshop, and so it's a great breakthrough, big innovation. And then he managed to sell this bookstore and launch a chain of pizza delivery, Dodo Pizza. So he launched this new product. So he launched a network of pizzerias. So Fyodor started out. So he started to work at McDonald's in St. Petersburg. And so he said that he was a teacher from Syktyvkar with a salary of 10,000. He wants to make more money working for McDonald's in St. P. And so he learns how these hamburgers and cheeseburgers are manufactured, and how much an average person makes, and where there's the longest line for the food court, and launches his own pizza line. So then Dodo Pizza, which starts to deliver pizza everywhere. And so when Fyodor starts to think how to attract investment, so he developed So he asks money from venture funds, and so then he talks in his blog So then there are many pizzas, and there are American pizzas, different pizzas, Russian pizzas, different brands, but you have no chance because you'll never be able to do that. And then, so using the power of his blog, so he says that any person who thinks that my pizza will be a $1 billion business, so opens up a new, so buy an option for my chain of pizzas, so that's 300 million rubles, and those I managed to raise 80 million rubles for business development, and that was the story of the last year, and further became a business legend of that city. So he managed to get access to the fast food restaurants. So 2 books were written. So even the people who don't know anything about business managed to do that, and so it's not the rocket scientists can organize pizzas. That was my very short introduction, and I hope that I'll be able to convey my idea to you that you can promote your business differently. And dear colleagues, I hope we'll have an interesting conversation, so 5 minutes per person, and I hope that you'll come out with the main ideas and answer certain questions, and maybe there will be an opposition of ideas and promoting marketing efforts. This dilemma of when you jump over the ravine. So when we divide our customers into 5 segments, so then the innovators is the successors, and so the 17% of those who adhere to innovations and so love innovations, and those are the early comers, and then 34% is the early majority, the late majority. So that's how just to jump over the precipice, but only 15% of the audience, how to capture the market. And I would like this terminology of overcoming this precipice, jumping over to the other side of the precipice. And so in the background of competitive market, so how to find clients through internet, how you find your own niche. And the first floor goes to AG, so he will talk about the general director of Amginia. Is not with us. So we translate it into.
Слышать друг друга. Мистер Лиджань, вам слово.
А вот здесь вот русский.
很高兴今天下午跟大家见面。中国国际广播电台台长王庚年先生为本次论坛准备了一个非常好的演讲，但是呢，由于他今天下午有其他的活动安排，所以呢不能够亲自到会场，所以王庚年先生委托我来跟大家一起来分享他的演讲。在我的印象里边，俄罗斯的秋天总是格外美丽，就像列维坦在《金色的秋天》里所描绘的那样。因此，很高兴能够在此时应邀来到层林尽染的莫斯科，参加这次国际创新论坛。在当今世界，科学技术的发展极大地推动了人类社会的进步，深刻影响着人类的生产和生活。在此背景下，开放式创新国际论坛的举办适逢其时，为各方提供了一个展示本国创新领域最新技术以及寻求国际合作的交流平台。同时，这一平台呢，经过有益的讨论与沟通，我们能够相互的借鉴、相互的学习，将高新技术更好地融入到媒体发展中来。那么，围绕今天分论坛的主题，在亚洲市场如何推动技术创新，我想与大家分享一下4G 时代与中国媒体的融合发展。第一，扑面而来的4G 时代。 根据全球移动供货商协会的统计，截止到2014年的5月，全球共有104个国家和地区建立了288张的4G 商用网络，全球的4G 用户数已超过2亿。美国、韩国、日本以及欧洲的一些国家是全球4G 发展的领跑者。美国运营商威瑞森电信2013年末的4G 用户已经占到了36%。那么在俄罗斯呢，4G 技术的发展同样非常迅猛，包括 MTC 等在内的多家运营商都在铺设这个4G 的网络，建设4G 基站。同样的，在中国也是从2013年年底就进入了这个4G 时代。4G 移动通讯技术正以前所未有的规模和速度冲击着当今社会，给包括媒体行业在内的各个行业带来了巨大的影响。由于4G 信号具有传输速率高、时延短、网络质量稳定的特点，在高速运行中依然信号平稳、业务流畅，所以视频内容的生产和传播进入了一个爆发式的增长时期。媒体内容采集以及生产加工手段都发生了深刻的变化。新闻更多的可以在现场完成，新闻采编的效率得到了提升。记者采集回来的文字、图片、音视频的素材，都通过统一的数字平台进行存储、管理和分发，实现了真正意义上的全媒体滚动播报。在4G 时代，还将出现更多的微阅读、微应用、微博、微信、微视频等微模式的新的业务形态。移动化、社交化、碎片化将进一步成为信息发布和消费的潮流。媒体的传播模式也将从大众传播向以用户为中心的分众传播来转变。个性化的传播将成为重要的手段。媒体运营模式将从传统的广告模式向用户模式转变，更加注重对用户、信息资源以及潜藏背后的社交网络的进行开发和利用。第二，4G 时代的媒体融合发展。4G 技术本身就是通讯技术、互联网技术、广播电视技术融合发展的产物。在4G 技术环境下，传统的以报刊、广播电视等不同媒体呈现的内容，能够以更加丰富和便捷的方式，在一个移动媒体上来呈现。面对这一新形势，综合发展、融合发展、一体发展将成为未来媒体发展的基本方向。中国国家领导人十分重视传统媒体与新媒体的融合发展。不久前，中国国家主席习近平指出，推动传统媒体与新兴媒体融合发展，要遵循新闻传播规律和新兴媒体的发展规律，强化互联网思维，坚持传统媒体和新兴媒体优势互补，共同发展。我们认为，基于以上形势，应该从以下6个途径加快推动媒体的融合发展。第一，观念融合。4G 是媒体融合发展的技术基础，而观念融合是媒体融合发展的前提。观念融合就是要形成适应媒体发展的新观念、新认识、新思维。进入4G 时代，尤其要强化互联网思维，为推动媒体融合发展奠定思想基础。互联网思维是媒体融合发展的必备理念，它其实是一种哲学思想。互联网思维强调平等、开放、协作、分享、共赢，高度关注用户的体验，实时把握用户需求变化，致力于打造精致产品与服务。推动媒体融合发展，重要的是发挥新兴媒体的聚合力。 融合新兴媒体技术优势和传播特点，实时满足用户的多样化、个性化的需求，在舆论新格局中抢占信息传播的制高点。第二，品牌融合。品牌融合就是要实现品牌媒体的多媒体化和多元化。在4G移动环境下，面对来自四面八方的海量信息和服务，一个媒体没有品牌，它所传播的信息和服务就会淹没在海量信息之中。媒体品牌的横向拓展是提升品牌影响力的关键所在。中国媒体要加快同一品牌向多媒体、多平台延展，构建多媒体的业务链，形成传媒集团框架。同时，采取多品牌滚动发展路径，以优质品牌为龙头，孵化新的媒体品牌，构建立体化的品牌，使传媒集团呈现丰富的品牌集团。媒体品牌纵向延伸是壮大媒体经济实力的重要途径。中国媒体品牌的市场开发和经营，目前呢还是主要停留在节目和栏目层面。品牌产业链的建构需要建立起完整的品牌产业链，要依托主营业务的品牌优势，打造多元化的产品链，以主打核心业务为基础，逐步延伸到其他的产业或产品。第三，平台融合。4G 技术已经突破了移动视频发展的技术瓶颈。4G 技术使各种媒体资源共享成为可能。4G 技术还将带来内容生产体系的重构，包括生产组织的重构与并购。实现平台融合，要紧密结合4G 时代的移动通讯技术，注重建立一体化的开放平台，构建一体化的生态圈。在中国，以百度、阿里巴巴、腾讯为代表的互联网巨头，都在以开放平台打造完整的生态系统。比如说，腾讯在线上建设互联网生态圈，在线下联合银行机构、软件园等业界资源，建立了创业孵化基地，吸引更多的开发创业者聚集到这个腾讯开放平台。媒体应该加快推动与各个开放平台的对接，打通线上线下资源，确定融合发展模式，使围绕媒体的平台生态均衡发展，实现内容提供商、广告商、应用服务商、用户各取所需，互利共赢。第四，用户融合。4G 技术与移动互联网技术快速发展的趋势下，行业竞争越来越激烈，用户需求、行为更加多样化。那么在这种情况下，传统的媒体渠道都存在独立的用户数据信息。在4G 移动通讯时代，用户的行为往往是跨渠道、跨时段多变化的。为了扩大不同媒体平台的市场竞争力和品牌影响力，形成有效的集群传播效应，需要先从底层统一各个渠道的用户数据信息，形成面向前端全渠道、后端全运营的统一的用户数据库。第五，机构融合。2014年7月18日，中国移动通讯有限公司、中国联合网络通讯有限公司和中国电信股份有限公司共同出资成立了中国通讯技术设施服务有限公司。这是4G 技术促进机构融合的很好例子。那么在俄罗斯呢，2013年年底，俄罗斯总统普京签署总统令，成立今日俄罗斯国际新闻通讯社，这也是媒体机构融合的典型案例。机构融合是媒体融合的载体，机构融合不是各媒体优势的简单叠加，而是通过对媒体集团结构和功能的有效整合，形成更为有效的发展模式。媒体组织的机构融合应着眼于不同媒体间的优势互补、资源共享和联合运作，加强统一规划，形成一体化的组织形 完成新的生产力流程设计，要引入新兴媒体成功的运营机制和商业模式，通过贯通事业产业两个机制，建立现代媒体企业制度，搭建起科学合理的媒体融合框架。第六，资本融合。资本融合就是通过并购、参股等方式促进媒体快速发展。资本是实现媒体形态融合和媒体产业融合的重要纽带，是实现不同所有制产权整合的有效手段。在媒体产业融合中，电信业、计算机业、传媒业间的技术壁垒将逐步打破。通过资本融合，媒体将能得到更多的包括4G 移动通讯技术在内的技术支持。而随着广电、通讯、互联网等行业的政策性壁垒不断放松，资本融合将会在媒体融合发展中发挥更加重要的作用，融合手段也会越来越丰富。女士们、先生们，媒体与技术的发展一向是不可分割的。在当今信息技术不断发展的环境下，媒体发展对技术的依赖越来越强。没有信息技术的支撑，今天的媒体是难以获得良好发展的。那么，借助于本次分论坛，我们对媒体与信息技术融合发展的方法和途径进行了交流与探讨。我们相信，媒体与电信的融合发展，既面临着难得的机遇，也有广阔的前景。谢谢大家。
Вы упомянули в своем выступлении, когда выступали от имени вашего директора Международного радио Китая, о развитии такой компании, как Tencent. Когда я посещал Шанхай в 2013 году, у нас была визит в шанхайскую бизнес-школу, и мы были в офисе компании Tencent, и для меня тогда было откровением, что уже в 2013 году капитализация компании Tencent приближалась к капитализации компании Facebook. Сейчас уже, по-моему, она превосходит, я бы...
And so the IPO, famous IPO, and the opportunities that Chinese market has in the domestic economy and the international expansion, such big giants like Alibaba and Tencent. So are they going to go for IPO in Europe, America, Russia? Are you planning to do any IPOs, or your domestic market and the huge demand will be sufficient, or are you planning to go public internationally? That's the question number one. And the second question, so are you planning to, so the media, the radio broadcasting, TV, will they disappear from China, or TV and radio will still be there, or digital will prevail and there will be no radio broadcasting and TV? And unfortunately, so there is unfortunately no translator, and so we have no Chinese translator, and that's why we couldn't. Could you answer this question? Only Chinese. Okay, so there is no translation, and so this question, unfortunately, we won't be able to answer this question. But we'll move over to our next speaker, Maxim Shilov, General Director of Digital. So it has to do with advertising and how the market will develop. So the advertising market will develop in TV, digital, and radio broadcasting. So how? So let's talk about. So we know just 5-10 years down the road it will be all digital. But now, what are the chances that the paper will be digitalized, and so TV will be digital, and what's your prospects? What's your perspective on the current situation? And so then it's not happening actually. So the digitalization is not occurring right now. So there is no stagnation of TV advertising, and so there is still a lot of advertising effort as well. And radio broadcasting is still there, and so it's not declining. So then the street advertising, billboards are still there, and but certainly we can observe a certain kind of joining of the formats, unification of the formats. That's what we see, and so there's a certain shift. So it's not happening that way, that one format replaces the other. It's not working that way. So then online, offline, so internet shops, e-trade. So they're buying offline. So online moves into offline. Offline moves into online, and so they are opening internet resources. And I think it's this. It's a merger. It's a complicated process of everything just entering each other's business and mixing up. And we are very active partners, it kind of symbolizes this unification of off and online resources, and it's related directly to so advertising, creative effort. So I'll touch upon three very important issues, and so I have some slides for you to show. And so how we can position ourselves, what are the new technologies for modern marketing, and what the new technologies can provide, how they can help the modern marketing, and what is the know-how. And I think that the technologies are omnipresent. They're moving in very actively, and so we can say that we are consuming more and more new gadgets every year, and so there are many examples that testify to the fact that that you can control your house with the touch of a finger, and a smart house is coming in, and these technologies are very popular with the people, so they consume traditional goods and services like that. So according to the data of Google, provided by Google, so 26 million Americans in 2014 will buy tourism services, travel services through smartphone, and this is the forecast of the European Touristic Commission. And 83 Americans will be using their smartphones to get goods and services. And we are living in the big data world, and all the gadgets that surround us, they are they're inside the house, outside the house, so even so inside our body as well. And so what's happening is our external world, internal world, and so all these readouts, gadgets, and so we can see that these gadgets collect, process, and transmit the data. And so then the data volume is such that if this is all put in printed fashion, then the distance that these books would take would be 115 billion kilometers. So if we put all the digital content into paper form. And then another simultaneous trend is making business more humane. So customization, personality, customer centricity, customer experience, so to attract big client base. And we can see that this personalization is making way very rapidly. And so they're trying just to learn more about people's emotions, human values, to be part of the internal, external worlds of the people. So they customize. That's what we refer to as human-centric approach, is when they pay more attention to the personal inner world, inner world of a person, of a human being. So the technologists, they get closer to human beings. So technologies take the shape of a human being. So they evince emotions. Robots look like new technologies look like human beings, like robots. So they're just trying just to cast this bridge and get it closer to. So even the. Will you speak more about the ASIMA and the savings bank? So the Honda represented that will handle the car, I think, right? But the savings bank's friends. What's that? It's how you can to imbue the banking business with some humane information per se. And so the savings bank is one of the first banks who started on a large scale so to try to embark upon this new business of making banking business more humane. And so then how you can develop, how to promote this story in social networks. And Sberbank has been very daring to attempt that. And they succeeded. So they're not afraid of open questions of point-blank questions, and they are ready to react to them, respond, act accordingly, and address these issues. That is system communications with the client. And so then Sberbank is almost 200 years old, and putting it on a different level and creating this emotional angle, and to make it client-centric, personal, customizing, and so then such projects like Rocket Bank. There's an application that speaks in your own tongue, and so we talk about the when you use the application of the Rocket Bank that connects you to the client bank. Very convenient. So there's more and more humane relations, one-on-one, bank-client, and that is getting more and more important. That's why there's this new term, experience economy. There's the economy of experience, the economy of impressions, and so then another. The evolution of values, moving towards customer experience. So how the cake was made, for example, for the children's birthday party, and so then Mama would take eggs and flour and would make that cake, and then there are certain. So ready to go, semi-finished food products appeared, and then you can buy a ready-made take-home cake, and then you can create impressions. So the mom organizes a party where the cake is a part and parcel of this human experience. And so with clowns and the events, music, entertainment, etc., and that creates certain additional opportunities for added value. So that's why the cake is not important anymore, and so it can create $100 of added value, not $15 or $2 or $1. And the next story, when the virtual economy, when you don't have to meet physically, you can do it on Skype and eat the virtual cake. So I assume that this trend take us to the point when people, after all, they want to talk to each other physically, associate with each other, communicate, and this will always stay there. But the mankind will not abandon so this luxury of face-to-face conversation. Nothing can replace human touch. What about this virtual helmet? When you put it on, and you can be anywhere, so at a children's party or the prime minister spirited intervention, whatever. And but the personal touch is more important, and so you can do it by phone or by smartphone. And so how would it be 5 years down the road? And yeah, traditional retail, we can see that internet is used for a number of purposes. And for example, Ozon and Sveznoy, they started to go online because they realized only a certain number of people who they prefer to talk to each other on internet. But many more just want to go physically to a shop, touch it, try it on, and then make a decision to buy or not. And I think that there will be a logical combination of human experience and more impersonal experience. Let's take it one step further. It's the multiplicity of human impressions during the process of buying, making a purchase. And so a lot of the whole gamut of different feelings a person feels when he communicates to any machine or human being. And so there are many points of contacts, and we have a certain communication. We carry out a certain communication that we need to overcome, and the modern marketing, as I was saying, is that's a mosaic of different individual personalities, and so they could be traditional shops, internet shop, it could be a cell phone or fixed line, a service center, pickup point, etc. And in order to find the right customer segment, identify the barriers, hurdles, and to build the required paradigm to tap the resource, so then the individual way to do that. And that's the role of technologies in modern marketing, is to guarantee this segmentation, the market segmentation, to analyze data, accumulate and guarantee this data management for the user, and manage the user. So modern marketing is impossible without this kind of global management center, marketing management center, because so then SAP, Adobe, whatever, how these things work and how it's all organized. So Deputy General Director of Business Development of CIS, Box Systems, Mr. Aganisyan, please. Let me pick up the thread from the point when Dmitry spoke about the snake or that swallowed the elephant. This is the cycle of selling this innovation product that comes to the market. Innovators, early adopters, etc. And so we are in an environment where creativity, marketing, and so the economics all of a sudden now becomes part and parcel of our everyday life. And we came to the conclusion to promote new products, and the majority of them are related to IT. And so we need to keep in mind those cycles. And so we need just to find those innovators who will take the banner and carry it forward. May it be a new shop or a cell phone or another gadget, and the strange buyers who are ready just to walk another 3 flights of stairs to buy the book they want on the 3rd floor. And
And it turns out that the technology can help you reach such clients, segment them, analyze them, and lure them from virtual reality to real physical reality, to the store. So once we speak not about the marketing as a whole, but about marketing and innovations, so something new, you need to search for such consumers of something new, for the early adopters, and they look approximately like jury. They have to have a beard, walk around with cell phones and gadgets, poking their fingers, just living in their phones. So the virtual reality should be for age, education, average income. Doesn't matter. You can find people well over 60 who keep playing, 24/7, and the only way to bring ads to them is to include it in the World of Tanks or some other game. It's a young mother babysitting a baby in one hand and a tablet in another hand, and you have to find those people, and it's easier to get to them through digital channel than find them on the billboard. The traditional, conventional ad cannot actually reach up to them. It's easier to find them in the social network, and it cannot replace it. So those young mothers go shopping. Those bearded over 60 guys, remember their old times, go to Uriah Heep and look at the billboards. So this omni-channel way, this omni-channelism, through which you can work with them, is a part of our reality. So it's only 3%. Why should we look for them? We are talking about innovation. When we find those 3%, they start using, they start telling, they become evangelists. They grow the idea, and early adopters follow them, and they actually catch up with the habits. So do you have a special program of handling innovators? For instance, Dropbox had a special Gmail, at Dropbox and Google, they would launch their own mail service. So it was either free of charge or free testing or premium boxes you select, your surname at gmail.com. So do you work with innovators who are quite choosy and they expect from you, like a big company, special offers? No, probably this is a kind of replacement of definition. We're a technological company. We deploy, but it's up to our partners to be creative, to invent a concept, a marketing campaign, communication concept, how to work with the audience. We take this concept and we overlap, to the technology, and we need to understand the target audience. We need to understand the content, the message, the idea that we have to bring, the product that we need to bring to them, and we need to understand the channel to deliver the idea. And then we actually overlap the matrices, and we understand where and how we can apply it. For instance, generation of personal address, or where there's the bait. To bait the people. So from the idea, from the marketing message to the target audience. I probably, if we have time, I can tell you how early adopters, how innovators take the product. So I will not name anyone, but the largest car manufacturer decided to come up in Europe with a car for a specific young youth audience, because the brand would be associated with migrants or elder generation, but not typical Europeans who prefer German cars. And for them to enter the market, what did they do? They launched a project, Draw a Car of Your Dream. So the innovators, the geeks, the nerds started drawing, sketching cars. You know how to draw, you draw. You don't know how to draw, you use some tools. You generate some beautiful 3 silhouettes to whatever ugly clankers that they would draw with some special applications. This drawing should collect a specific number of likes. After that, this marketing department would select the best of the best with the largest number of likes, and among them they would hold a contest, screen them, and then they told them, if we combine everything that you drew, so that's what you are getting, something in between a jeep or a little cute car, so it doesn't look like that, but that's how it looks. Do you want that? And then internet got blown up. People said, yes, we want this froggy, we want this ugly, bulged-eyed, and that's what they got. And everyone keeps buying. I don't know, but I have a feeling I can name a make and a model like Nissan Juke. When I see it, yeah, exactly, Nissan Juke. Thank you. Thank you. Interesting case. So did you have anything to do with this case? No. So over the last 2 years, we have many cases when from digital to physical things go. And so I have shown you all those contact points of the consumer with the manufacturer, innovator, startup, who come up with the product. And we need to cover the traditional channels where we work with traditional communication agency, and some agencies are modern with crowdsourcing, banner advertising, keywords, search words with Google and whatever, Yandex. So that's what makes it digital. It allows you to understand what are the best channels to get the media information, and then the technology gets in and start working. So let me again talk about this omni-channel activity. Digital marketing, impression, clients' experience, hands-on experience, interaction of consumer with the brand and the company, then a route of the client's route. It's a very interesting thing, because a person can find in the web a repost of his friend information about the product in his car. On the way to the office, he can get the primary information, then drop by to a bank, chat department, or a store, call a call center, can go back and study the thing from the target, and then order it. This is the client's way. So all these routes, the way the client comes to you, need to be described, and then you need to turn to the client and provide the information at the adequate time and space, and the person profile. This is personalization, the target proposal. So that's what, in brief, when a startup, a company will launch a new product in the market, new brand, and then communication agency will chip in and create the marketing content. So for us, it's a digital content part of the content that would be shown as a commercial on TV, on the radio, or outdoor advertising. For us, it's digital content that we need to bring through a digital channel, like email, website, adaptive website, depending on the endpoint, website for a tablet, or it can be a mobile app, social games, whatever it is. All the ways to catch, to chase the clients, the innovators or the conservative ones, to bring the information to them, understand their behavior, understand their response, how they respond, who indeed came to your department or your web page, and then after we understand it, we optimize the message and bring it again to the client. It's a rate. Great. I will not actually share too much detail, but the idea of digital market is to understand the people who visit the website. You think you just go and have a look, but the big brother is watching you. We can see how you look, what device you use, at what time of day, what were the keywords, what you visited before that. And we can kind of personalize your offer. You probably saw once you Google for tickets to Milano. So for the next 2 weeks, there will be Milano tickets, badgering you. No, this is not mine. This is Google, Adobe, and many other companies, a whole bunch of companies, Yandex, who collect this information and then actually target at you, and the business can find specific consumers of specific services and make a target proposal. If I use Control-Shift and then the incognito mode, can you catch me? No. We can probably know where you are, what time of day you visit us. So, for instance, if you go to a porno site, most probably you're a man. If you came from a big screen, from mail sources, from news, car websites, we shall offer you, for instance, a loan for a car. If you come at night from a tablet computer, so most probably we shall offer you mortgage, because that's most probably more relevant. So if I delete the cookies, if I keep clearing them, will it make your search more complicated? Yes, but it's only 2% of such bearded geeks who delete their cookies, but most people don't. So I actually a humanitarian. So I'm not a technical guy. I guess I'm the first innovator, but actually I was putting myself in the category of majority, because, for instance, I was very late in starting using smartphones, and I was not an Apple geek, by the type of consumer information. Yes, smartphone, electronic, no TV at home, but this is the proper approach to categorize your audience. I believe it was a brilliant presentation about Nissan or the New Year air ticket. So we gave you a couple of advice how you save. Most probably you won't use them, but Google, Yandex will be happy to earn more money on you and your habits. And we have another presentation from Deputy General Director of Russian Gazette, the Russia Beyond the Headlines, Evgeny Abov. So could you please tell me how the Russian Gazette survives in the digital world? So I guess it's wonderful building real estate property at Pravdy Street. Do you plan to abandon print, or are you going to go completely digital? What is the future of the Russian Gazette and the Russia Beyond the Headlines project? Well, saying that paper is going to disappear, we have been hearing such talks for decades, but once we study the whole statistics and the number of players and everything and all, I can always reply, because I'm the vice president of the World Gazette Association. I can tell you that there'll be enough for us, for another 50 years, I think. Probably not 50. Probably the paper will kind of change the form, the substance. But this way of getting information will last for decades, I believe. As for the Russian Gazette, I guess everybody knows the Russian Gazette, both inside Russia and so as a very high quality Gazette, and in this case I want to share with you about the other side of opportunities, and speak about the part of marketing communications to do with information support of innovations and startups. And in this case, I'm not talking about just local Russian information opportunities that usually Russian Gazette is associated with, but about our opportunities that we have created over the last 7 years, and innovations and promoting this information across the globe. Some 8 years ago, we launched a new project that's called RBTH, Russia Beyond the Headlines. So creating special inserts about Russia that would be published and distributed within the largest global magazines. So today we cover 29 editions. You can see them on the slides, the brands. So judging by the brands, these are the top leaders, the leaders of the mass media of the relevant countries. And once a month, in them, we insert a section about Russia in 16 languages, 29 inserts, 23 countries, with the total audience of 30 million people. It's the audience of the holding gazettes. So it's another proof to the fact that paper is alive, and definitely we cannot compare to the Russian circulation. In Japan, the Gazette will have the circulation of 5 million, in China 1.3 million, so cumulative circulation in the United States over 2 million, because it's 3 Gazette, Washington Post, New York Times, Wall Street Journal. And so that's how they look, those inserts that are getting into the top-notch newspapers. So I believe we can say this is an innovation. But speaking about the innovation side of the project, we create content targeted for a specific gazette, being localized for a specific country, individual language, and individual audience in the country, and even the editorial standards that exist in each mother gazette. So you do it in this newsroom, young guys, 28, 27 years of age, the average age of editors. Many of them started with us back 5 years back, so they came immediately after graduation, and they're not native speakers. They just graduated some universities, journalism in languages, country, local universities. They know the language, 2 to 3 people per country, and their task is to produce the content. Definitely, they cannot ensure 100% quality to comply to the local standard. But for that, we have so-called sub-editors who who are stationed in the mother gazettes, and we give them the article space. We give them space. They can be stationed in São Paulo or Tokyo or Sydney or in a next-door cafe. They just need a computer and access code, and they enter and adjust the style and edit the way it is proper and acceptable in their gazettes. And it's not just paper, though the paper format covers most of the bulk of our audience, over 30 million readers, and we are part of the trend that we discussed with our Chinese colleagues, like convergence and merging all the resources around different platforms. And the team And the guys who are sitting in this newsroom create the content that goes to the printing, the hard copy, or the website in 16 languages, and 2 languages, Russian and English and German, go to the iPad application. And this is a technology or publishing principle, 360 degrees principle. And so this is the chart of the content targeting. When our content management system is brought to the screens of our editors in Sydney or Brazil, wherever, those editors help create the content, adding this local spice, local style, and traditions and standards and restrictions, by the way, that are relevant to the country in question. And this is a multimedia content, quite interactive, and targeting at the audience that our journalists know very little, because one of the issues in the project was to find journalists who can write in the same standards, same style, local structure and tradition that, for instance, is relevant to New York Times or Daily Telegraph. Take, for instance, an article in a Russian Gazette or Investia. Even with very good translation, it will not fit the Western newspaper because it will require virtually a rewrite. That's what we are doing, bringing the Russian news to the pages of those newspapers. And we have interesting section, which is very popular, science and engineering. And we have special sections on cases of Russian companies, mainly in IT companies, and a large chapter about science and everything, arms, information. We try to deliver the content in such a way that would be matching the traditions. You heard the multimedia capacity of New York Times. So what, as we cooperate with them, definitely we have to search the formats, look for the formats. It's slow. I'm sorry. You have to, yeah. Now we are talking about a startup. And this is a whole story, a multimedia story about a Russian young biologist, Alexander, who is studying these jellyfish. And now he's raising funds for a trip around the world for scientific purposes. And we selected this format, which was extremely catchy among the readers. And then another story is Lingua Leo. I cannot see well, but probably so. Lingua Leo, the project that we do with so 30 Russian entrepreneurs under 30, and we create such profiles and images of the 30 best Russian entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs. Yeah, yes, I remember. This article actually went to many top editions. I believe we created it. Yeah. Then now I can't see well, but I guess this is the Russian startups rating, a project where we work on information. So this is Digital October, Pricewaterhouse, Russian startup rating. Yeah, and that's where we come in. We are the official information partner. So you promote Russian startup rating in 25 countries and many continents, yes, the most interesting stories get into the country, but you always can find it online. Good. I guess, by the way, recently we had another project that is targeted at export, Russia Direct, Russia for experts. For expert in specific industries with Foreign Policy magazine. And that's why we have this angle about the Russian-American agenda. But the last presentation, monthly and quarterly presentations about the Russian innovation economy, a report by 2 experts from the US and 2 Russian experts. So this is our contribution in promoting Russian innovations. And, well, we selected the image of our foreign minister, who is considered to be very favorably, who can adjust the message to any audience. And that's what I appeal to you. That's how I want to prevail. We are open. And if we have any innovation company here or a marketologist, please keep in mind we are newsmakers, and if you have a topic that will dovetail, that will line up with us, and if we feel this is a relevant topic for the foreign audience, I will definitely commit that we shall write about it. Great, thank you, Yevgeny. And I believe we have exhausted our stories. And if you have questions, you can approach the speakers. And we are done. Our session is finished. I would like to thank the organizers and see you soon at the forum, I believe, next year as well. Thank you very much for your attention.